I'm Chris Allen, one of the pastors here at Elevation. You may be wondering, now that I'm a Christian, what can I do? What can I not do? What does it mean to obey God? I'm here to encourage you today that obeying God isn't about a checklist of things you can and can't do. Instead, it's an opportunity for you to know God in a deeper way and open the doors to His limitless power. Take a few minutes to listen to this next clip as Pastor Stephen preaches from Luke 19, when Jesus had just given His disciples a simple but out of the ordinary order.
I love how there are 4 different gospel accounts, because in the book of Luke, they tell the same story, but Luke is a physician, so he has an attention to detail that surpasses Mark's attention to detail. Mark's gospel is a wartime gospel. It's straight to the point. It's the shortest one. Luke gives more detail than you sometimes want to know, but here it's very helpful, because in Luke 19:32, it says that when the disciples were sent ahead, they went and found it just as he had told them. I wrote this statement down. When I do what Jesus tells me, it will be as he has told me. When I do what Jesus tells me, it will be as he has told me. Yeah, but I want to understand. You don't get to understand on this side of your obedience. You obey, then you understand. You untie the colt, and then you see the deliverance. So here's how that works out in my life. Okay. God gives me this idea to go to Jerusalem and film the Easter worship experience. What are you doing that for? I mean, why would you get on a plane and go all the way across the world? But I really felt like this is how God wanted me to do it. And so we went around. Show the pictures, guys, if you got them, of all these different locations where we went to film. And we went and saw all these places. Go ahead, you can go a little faster than that. All these places. And that's part of the teaching that I'm going to share for Easter next week. I'm going to take you and show you this 7-mile experience. And our worship leaders sang in locations like the Garden Tomb, where it's held that Jesus' body used to be. Ain't there no more. So nobody knows if it's really it, because there's nobody there. But we filmed there. And I'll tell you what, I felt in my heart like, man, do I really want to go through with all this? I could just stand up and preach Easter and people would come. It's a big church now and I don't have to do all that crazy stuff anymore. But it was really about just obedience. It was like God saying to me, are you going to do what I tell you, or are you going to do what you think you need to do? Because thinking didn't get you here, donkey. What got you here was a stubborn resolve to say, I'm going to do what he said to do. I'm going to go where he said to go. What are you doing untying that colt? Jesus told me to. What are you doing? What are you doing? I remember when we rented Time Warner Arena to have Easter. And I was backstage throwing up in my mouth, wondering if we could fill it. And the finance department was taking sedatives. What are you doing? You going to the basketball arena to have church? Church is 5 years old. But he told us to do it. I got the picture on my wall of over 11,000 people standing in the arena, because when I go where he said to go and do what he said to do, I find that things are just as he promised they would be. Now, I came to tell somebody today that there's an instruction that God has given you in your life. It doesn't make much sense. And everything in you is saying, what are you doing? What are you doing forgiving that person that hurt you? What are you doing giving your money away in this economy? What are you doing serving sacrificially in your church? What are you doing loving your wife? What are you doing inviting that person to come to Easter with you? But I want you to look that devil in the eye and tell him, Jesus told me to do it. If he told me to do it, it's already done. If he sent me there, he's got his provision waiting on the other side. Jesus told me to do it, and he's faithful to fulfill his word. Somebody make some noise.
Wow, I hope you were able to get as much out of that sermon clip as I was. It's so comforting to know that when Jesus tells us to do something, it will be as he told us. As you follow Christ, you will find that he often calls you to act in faith on something that doesn't make sense to people that don't know him. So what is it that God is calling you to do today? Perhaps it is reading your Bible, forgiving someone, or inviting someone to church. Whatever it is, Pray that God will give you the opportunity to obey Him today. As you take that opportunity, you will see God follow through on all His promises and move in greater ways than you could ever imagine. God bless.